Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Bookeemonsters, or welcome back. My name is PK. Today is Friday, December 15th. We are halfway through the month, 2.5 weeks till the end of the year. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. So today, normally we look at the new releases that are being set into the wild each week and genre by genre, because we are Bookie Monsters, just like sharks. We are out there looking for new books and authors constantly. We've pretty much looked at all the interesting bits this week already. It's getting this close to the holiday. They're not necessarily pushing out a whole lot of books. But I also wanted to take today to let you know about the new readathon I was going to be sponsoring or conducting, whatever verb you want to say, in January. And we'll get to that in a second. Good morning, Mary. Happy Friday, TGIF. Christmas is racing towards us. Am I ready? No, but I don't know many people who are. Don't stress, it will get done. And if not, oh well, next year. Yeah, our receptionist was stressing about it. And she's a little bit older than me. She doesn't have kids, but her husband's side of the family, gets together and stuff. And she was just stressing. I was like, take the word Christmas out of it. You're just getting gifts, if you want to get gifts, for people that you care about. And just go look for that. And I don't know if it helped her, but she kind of went, oh, okay. So I think she went Christmas shopping last night. Lots of errands to run after Thunderhorse Descendant. Not crazy about running around. Yeah. But at least there's not snow on the ground right now, right? I mean, you want the moisture, but you don't want it when you're driving around. Would rather be home making jewelry. My last show was Sunday. Oh my goodness, where's it going to be held at? Hopefully, this close to Christmas, people are looking. Um, One of the jobs I've had in my past was I worked at a jewelry store one time, and Christmas Eve is the best time to be selling jewelry because they will buy anything. Guys will buy anything. So hopefully you're gonna get a lot of good customers there who are in the mood to gift your jewelry. I have every confidence. Um, I am done pretty much Christmas shopping, and I used to work in a mall. I do not participate in Black Friday nor really Christmas shopping there. The energy is fun usually, but I just don't want to deal with that. So I do most of my shopping online, and I have one more thing to buy because I don't want it to get there too early. So I'll be ordering it uh, a little early next week, so it gets there in a good time, but not sitting there. It's for my mom. Uh, Expectations run rampant this time of year. The show is at a local winery. Ooh, not particularly productive, but nice to get out and see folks. A little wine, a little jewelry, a winning combo. And will they give you samples? I'm not a huge wine drinker. I would love to. And there's a fabulous show on Amazon called The Wine Show. It ran for 3 seasons out of the UK, and I loved it. I wished I was. I don't have a great sense of taste because I don't have a great sense of smell. Mary, I had a library branch in a mall. Oh wow, All tech branch back then when that was novel, and soon when the mall has a life of its own. Absolutely, absolutely. There is a wine though that I always wanted to taste. I like the sweeter wines because I don't have a good palate for it. Um, and the blueberry wine always looked really pretty. Yeah, I'm not a connoisseur of it. It looks pretty. Alright, shall we jump into this? Get rid of the banner. So the reading sprint, I would like to reading sprint. The readathon, I would like to promote in January. My first love, I did the Spy versus Spy in September, which I think was so fun. But my first love in reading is historical mysteries. If I had to choose one genre to read for the rest of my life, it would be that. Um, why? Because I love learning things. I love learning bits of history or living in different times. And authors 99.9% of the time try to be as accurate as possible. They go great lengths to be as accurate as possible, but still tell a good story. Plus, with historical mysteries, you have all of time to choose from, and there are mystery books and series set through all time. From, I think there's even caveman ones out there. Not a joke. I've not read them. But Egyptian, Greek, Roman, all the way up to, I guess now they're considering the 70s, 1970s historical. As we found out this week, I think, wasn't it? There was a historical category on one set in 1975. Sad. So in January also, oh, back to why I also love historical mysteries. I love that the crime solver, whatever they are being called in that time, has to use the science of their time, the techniques of their time to solve it, which pretty much up until 1940 was talking to people. Fingerprints weren't accepted into legal situations until I think the 1940s, if I remember right. Um, so talking to people and puzzling it out, piecing it together is something I really enjoy reading about. So, hi, Annalise. So glad you are here. Are you feeling better? Yes, good question. Hope you are feeling better. So I'm just talking about the readathon I'm going to conduct in January, and let us switch to, here's the little logo I came up with. I did not create that picture. It was free out there, but I did add the words, you might tell. Bookeemonsters Midwinter HistMyst Readathon. Because I'm also thinking middle of winter is kind of when you dig down and maybe read um, deeper books. You know, they're not beach reads. Maybe they're a little longer. Maybe they take you, to fill the time in the dark, longer to read, more interesting that way. So this is what I came up with: Bookie Monsters Midwinter Mist Readathon. Ta-da! Yes, a little bit better. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm an internet junkie. I go looking. Thank you. Will you share some authors? I will. I will. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. So I've been reading historical mysteries since early 2000s, and the love of it struck hard. I just love them. Um, do I have a favorite era? Yeah, I used to read up until the 1920s and 1930s. I've now stretched into the 1940s. Um, I do love Regency. I do love um, later Victorian. I love Edwardian. I love the 20s and 30s. I love the Tudor times, medieval. I mean, I just love it. I love it. Are there any that I would avoid? I have a hard time with the Egyptian ones. I like Roman. I just really haven't dove deep into them. I don't think I will do the caveman ones if I find them. All right. So one of my absolute favorite series is by C.S. Harris. She also writes as Candace Proctor. So far, there are 19 books in this series, so if you get started and do read from the beginning, because there is story, character development. Um, yeah, 2015. Um, Starts with the first book is What Angels Fear. This is a Sebastian Sincere mystery. It's 1811, and the threat of revolution haunts the upper classes of King George III's England. Then the body of a beautiful young woman is found savagely murdered on the altar steps of an ancient church near Westminster Abbey. A dueling pistol discovered at the scene and the damning testimony of a witness both point to one man, Sebastian St. Cyr, Viscount Devlin, a brilliant young nobleman shattered by his experience in the Napoleonic Wars. Love that series. I also love the Georgian, the late 1700s. This one, the C.J. Sansom books are quite hefty as they go along. It's set in the 1500s during Henry VIII. So worth it. This is a lawyer in the time of Henry VIII. The year is 1537, and the country is divided between those faithful to the Catholic Church and those loyal to the King and the newly established Church of England. When a royal commissioner is brutally murdered in a monastery on the south coast of England, Thomas Cromwell, Henry VIII's feared vicar general, summons fellow reformer Matthew Shardlake to lead the inquiry. Shardlake and his young protege uncover evidence of sexual misconduct, embezzlement, and treason, and when two other murders are revealed, they must move quickly to prevent the killer from striking again. There's 7 in this series. He hasn't written one in a couple years, so he might be done, but definitely love and adore that series. I would love to reread that whole series. Sounds wonderful. I love Regency Set Series 2. And we've got a couple in here that we'll get to. This author I found last year and just binged one a month. I wanted to just snark them all up. And I have not been a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes until the last few years, but this is by Sherry Thomas, the Lady Sherlock series. There's 8 in this series. With her inquisitive mind, Charlotte Holmes has never felt comfortable with the demureness expected of the fairer sex in upper-class society, but even she never thought she would become a social pariah, an outcast fending for herself on the mean streets of London. When the city is struck by a trio of unexpected deaths and suspicion falls on her sister and her father, Charlotte is desperate to find the true culprits and clear the family name. She'll have help from friends new and old, a kind-hearted widow, a police inspector, and a man who has long loved her. But in the end, it'll be up to Charlotte, under the assumed name Sherlock Holmes, to challenge society's expectations and match wits against an unseen mastermind. I fell in love with these because not only is this a very intelligent character with some great supporting cast, so to speak, um, what I found over the course of the series is the denouement, the unfolding of the solution is like an onion. She packs a really good plot. What you think is going to be revealed could be revealed, but then there's more. I mean, it's so good. Um, and there's a very slow burn romance, which I also love, which I don't think is a spoiler. Another series I would love to reread, which I think is a brilliant concept, is the Fool's Guild series by Alan Gordon. There's 6 in this, and he has not written in many years. This is it for this series. So if you don't want a big investment, but you do like the medieval times, I think this is brilliant. Plus, there's elements of Shakespeare in this too. So what I thought was so brilliant is, as brought out in these books, is in the high courts of medieval times, there's always a fool who is not necessarily an advisor, but the fool is always there. And in this series, the fool is a member of the guild who is like a medieval CIA, kind of guiding things along. It's just a brilliant concept to me. Uh, this is 13th Night. 13th Night is for revelry. 13th Night is for revelations. Orsino is dead. The message sends the jester Festi, disguised as a German merchant, back to the duchy where years earlier he had foiled the plans of Saladin's agent Malvolio. Now, if you're familiar with Shakespeare and the title, this is using some characters from Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. So you get 13th Night. And secured the duchy for Orsino and his bride Viola. As agent of the Fool's Guild, Festi must uncover the cause of Orsino's death, be it accidental, suicide, or murder. Has Malvolio returned to win the revenge he swore, or has another more sinister cabal plunged the duchy into political upheaval? It is brilliant. I wish he wrote more than the six. Times are also a big favorite of mine. Oh yeah, Wolf Hall. That's good, good, good. This one is a big one, and even if you don't read historical mysteries as much as I do, a lot of people are starting their dabbling into historical mysteries with this series. Veronica Speedwell by Deanna Rayburn. There are 9 books in this series. She's a very strong character. This is set in 1880s. London, 1887. After burying her spinster aunt, orphaned Veronica Speedwell is free to resume her world travels in pursuit of scientific inquiry and the occasional romantic dalliance. As familiar with hunting butterflies as with fending off admirers, Veronica intends to embark upon the journey of a lifetime. But fate has other plans when Veronica thwarts her own attempted abduction with the help of an enigmatic German baron who offers her sanctuary in the care of his friend Stoker, a reclusive and bad-tempered natural historian. But before the Baron can reveal what he knows of the plot against her, he is found murdered, leaving Veronica and Stoker on the run from an elusive assailant as wary partners in search of the villainous truth. This one has more of a industrial revolution scientific bent to it. She is a very, very intelligent character. That is the first book in the series, A Curious Beginning. Sort of dabbling again in sort of Sherlock land. This is a series by Will Thomas, Barker and Llewellyn. It has the same dynamic, somewhat, of Sherlock and Watson. This is a duo. This first book is called Some Danger Involved. There's 15 books in this series. When the eccentric and enigmatic Cyrus Barker takes on the recent murder case of a young scholar in London's Jewish ghetto, he realizes that he must hire an assistant. And out of all who answer an ad for a position for Some Danger Involved, he chooses downtrodden Llewellyn, a gutsy young man with a murky past. As they inch ever closer to the shocking truth behind the murder, Llewellyn is drawn deeper and deeper into Barker's peculiar world of vigilante detective work, as well as the heart of London's teeming underworld, etc. Good series. This next one is also set in Regency time, but it is more in beginnings of Industrial Revolution oriented. This is by Andrea Penrose. It is the Rexford and Sloane series. There are 7 in this series. This first one is called Murder on Swan Lane. The Earl of Rexford possesses a brilliant scientific mind, but boredom and pride lead him to reckless behavior. So when pompous, pious Reverend Josiah Holworthy publicly condemns him for debauchery, Rexford unsheathes his rapier-sharp whip and strikes back. As their war of words escalates, London's most popular satirical cartoonist, A.J. Quill, skewers them both. But then the clergyman is found slain in a church, his face burned by chemicals, his throat slashed ear to ear, and Rexford finds himself the chief suspect. An artist in her own right, Charlotte Sloane has secretly slipped into the persona of her late husband using his nom de plume, A.J. Quill. When Rexford discovers her true identity, she fears it will be her undoing, but he has a proposal: use her sources to unveil the clergyman's clandestine involvement in questionable scientific practices and unmask the real murderer. Soon Lord Rexford and the mysterious Mrs. Sloane plunge into a dangerous shadow world hidden among London's intellectual enclaves to trap a cunning adversary. We're not going to be able to cover everything. We'll be doing that probably next Friday. This series, the Lady Darby series by Annalee Huber, she has 2 historical mysteries out. This is her first one that she did. There's 12 in this one. First book is called The Anatomist's Wife. This is Scotland, 1830. Following the death of her husband, Lady Darby has taken refuge at her sister's estate, finding solace in her passion for painting. But when her hosts throw a house party for the cream of London society, Kira is unable to hide from the ire of those who believe her to be as unnatural as her husband, an anatomist who used her artistic talents to suit his own macabre purposes. Kira wants to put her past aside, but when one of the house guests is murdered, her brother-in-law asks her to utilize her knowledge of human anatomy to aid the insufferable Sebastian Gage, a fellow guest with some experience as an inquiry agent. While Gage is clearly more competent than she first assumed, Kira isn't about to let her guard down as accusations and rumors swirl. When Kira and Gage's search leads them to even more gruesome discoveries, a series of disturbing notes urges Lady Darby to give up the inquiry, etc., etc. So that is a very good series as well. Oh, I have lots. I have lots of them. But we're out of time. Once again, you are reading that one. Yes. Good series, right? Read the sequel as well, Annalise. It is Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, who is no longer with us. I have not read the third one yet. As you probably know, love those 2 books. Always interested in that era. Thanks, Mary. I will. Christmas coffee. Yep. Some pretty Christmas coffee. Speaking of, so that is it for today. No sprints tonight, but we'll have sprints tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. It will be going for 5 hours per usual. Hope you bring something to read or work on, or if you just want to nap, that's okay too. We'll be listening to some nice music, kind of like this, and bring a friend or tell people. The more the merrier. Where did the time go? Hope to see you all later. Our last one for a while. I know, isn't that weird? But, Rosanna's doing the mornings after that. Have a great Friday. Thank you. Thanks, PK, for great suggestions. Can't make tomorrow Christmas party. Oh, fun. No, face-to-face is way better. Go out and meet people. It's okay. Yes, you love Saturday sprints. Yay. All right. Well, you guys have a good Friday. Sarah, but Mary, have good luck on your show on Sunday. It's going to be marvelous. And we'll see you guys later. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Have a good day and God bless.